This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so in the last session we have discussed the concept of compensatory off, right? We have discussed about the concept of compensatory off. We said that whenever an employee works on a public holiday or day off, then those number of hours will be added to the absence quota, and the employee will be able to utilize that absence quota using an absence type, at any time of his or her choice. So let us go ahead and start the configuration of this compensatory off scenario. So if we have to configure the entire end-to-end scenario, we have to do all these configurations as we have discussed in the last session. Yeah, we have to do all these end-to-end configurations. We have to configure the attendance type first of all to capture the comp of attendance, and then assign a counting rule to it. Then configure an absence quota. Then assign a deduction rule to it, then counting rule, and then absence type. So this entire link, this end-to-end config has to be done. Yeah. And then apart from doing all this, we also have to link the attendance type with the absence quota. So let us go ahead and start the configuration of the compensatory off. And we have done all these configurations previously. We have done the configuration of absence quota, we have done the absence type, counting rule, deduction rule, attendance type, counting rule. We have done everything. Okay, right. So I'll go a little fast here. I'll go a little fast because we have done all these configurations already. And wherever there are little variations, I'll tell you what is the difference, between the regular quota and comp of quota, and I'll tell you the differences. I'll tell you the differences or variations. But otherwise, of course, we have to do the complete configuration. But we'll go a little fast. That's all. Okay. Now, SVR reference IMG, we have time management. Then first of all, let us go ahead and configure absence. Yeah, absence for comp, absence type for comp. Now, if you go to time data recording and administration, then we have absences and then absence catalog. Yeah, absence catalog. Group personal subareas for attendances and absences. We have already done this. Yeah, the grouping that we have assigned was 2. So we'll go ahead and use the same grouping number. We have to use the same grouping number. So define absence types. Click on new entries. Personal subarea grouping is 02. Absence type is, let us say, 9000 for instance. Yeah, and we'll call this as VAS INC. Yeah, VAS INC comp of or CO comp of absence type. Comp of absence type. Start date of validity and then date of validity. And absence input checks will be same. If at all an employee is booking absence, comp of absence, and if at all the first day is a day off, then error message has to be given. Last day is a day off, also error message has to be given. And if there is any other non-working day, also error message has to be given. And the minimum duration to book the comp off is 0 days or 0 hours. And then the maximum duration is 365 days. Is what I'm giving here. You can give these values as per the customer's business process. So it says an entry already exists with the same key. Now let me say this as 8500 instead of 8000, 9000. Yeah, hit on enter. Now get back and back. Now determine entry screens and time constraint classes. determine entry screens in time constraint classes. Now 8500 is absence type. So VAS INC comp of absence type. Screen number. We already discussed about the screen numbers. If at all the quota is associated with this absence, then we are going to give the screen number as 2001. The quota is, if it is not associated with any quota, we are going to give a screen number called as 2000. So because this is comp of and we are going to configure the quota also, I'll assign the screen number called as 2001. And the time constraint class we already discussed a couple of times. The time constraint class here will be set in the table v underscore 554 y underscore b table, yeah, underscore b table, and in this table we have something called as the reaction indicator, yeah, and based on the reaction indicator, the time constraint class will behave. So if you go to SM30, and give the table name. We have all these, info types here, and when you double click anywhere on the absences, we also get to see the reaction indicator. So reaction indicator E is what we need. So reaction indicator E is again is a time constraint class called as 02. So we will use the time constraint class called 02 here. Yeah. So we already discussed in detail about what is a reaction indicator and all the stuff. Now, with this, the configuration of the absence type is completed. Yeah, configuration of absence type is completed. Now, let us configure absence quota. Yeah, let us configure absence quota. First of all, we will complete this block of configuration. Yeah, and then we will configure the attendance type and counting rule as well. So, managing time accounts using attendance/absence quotas. Managing time accounts using attendance/absence quotas and time quota types. Define absence quota type. Define absence quota type. Now the previous quota that we have defined was for an employee subgroup group in 2 and personal subarea group in 02. What was the quota? VAS INC absence quota. This is what we have configured. So the quota number here is 80. The 2-character code is 80. So let me configure something which has a quota number called as 85. Now click on new entries. Employee subgroup grouping is 2. Start date of validity and date of validity. Personal subarea grouping is 02. Quota number or code is 85. And it is VAS INC compo absence quota. This is compo absence quota. And time/measurement unit. So in the previous quota, the absence quota, we have considered days. Now let us consider hours. Yeah, let us consider hours. And there will be no negative deduction 2 here because negative deduction is given or assigned wherever we are sure that the quota will get generated in the forthcoming month. Yeah, negative deduction 2 can be assigned wherever we are sure that the quota will be generated in the forthcoming month, which is fixed quota, which is like annual new quota, which is fixed. So we know that the quota will get generated in the forthcoming month. But in case of the comp of quota, we don't know if the employee is going to book attendance on a public holiday or day off. We don't know if the quota is going to get generated. So when we are not sure whether the quota is going to get generated or not, how can someone borrow the quota from the forthcoming month? It is not possible. So we will not give any negative deduction to here. Yeah, will not give any negative deduction to it. Now navigate back. Then Once the defining the quota is completed, then calculating absence entitlements, automatic accrual of absence quotas, automatic accrual of absence quotas, and permit generation of quotas in time evaluation. Permit generation of quotas in time evaluation. Employee subgroup grouping is 2, personal subarea grouping is 02, quota is 85, and this is the one. Now, previously when we have configured the annual leave quota, we set it as no generate. Okay, I think we didn't assign the time constraint class. It will be 02. Okay. Now, please observe here, previously when we have configured the annual leave absence quota, yeah, we set
Right.
as no generate. Yeah, we said no generate, and we have generated the quota using RPTQTA00, the program called as RPTQTA00. Now what we will do is, instead of choosing no generate, we will choose increase. We will choose the option called as increase, and we will generate the quota by executing time evaluation. Yeah, we will generate the quota by executing time evaluation.
Time evaluation.
Same. All right. So previously we have used an option called no generate. So we have generated the quota using RPTQTA00. I have shown you the quota got generated as 20 days of something, right? Because the employee got hired in the month of March. Jan and Feb, the quota did not get generated. From March onwards, we have seen the quota of 20 days which got generated. Right. Now, in this case, what we will do is, we will not use RPTQTA00 program. We will generate it using the time evaluation. That is the difference between the annual quota and compound quota. Now, rules for generating absence quotas. Rules for generating absence quotas, and specify rule groups. Specify rule groups for quota type selection. Here, double click on feature QMO. Double click on feature QMO, and again, as the country group in USA, the employee group and subgroup we have already defined here previously. So we will go ahead and use the same grouping numbers. There is no change here. Yeah, there is no change in this QMO configuration. We will go ahead and use the same written values that are assigned here. We will use the same written values. Then set base entitlements, and base entitlements for absence quota generation. Base entitlement for absence quota generation. Employee subgroup is 2, personal surveyor group is 02, and start date of validity and date of validity. And I think the personal surveyor grouping for time recording that we have used previously is 01, I guess, right? So 01 or 02?
Time recording.
Can you cross check?
No.
Personal surveyor grouping is 02. Absence quota type was 18. Let's see. Okay. Yes, I can see. Okay. So the personal surveyor grouping for time recording was 01. It was 01. Now click on new entries. Employee subgroup is 2, personal surveyor grouping is 02, start date of validity and date of validity, and personal surveyor grouping for time recording is 01, absence quota type 85. Yeah. And rule for base entitlement, let us say 850. I'm just giving a random number. Sequence number is 001. Yeah. And then let's leave seniority and age. And here, this is comp of quota. Okay. Comp of quota. And this quota has to be generated only when employee books attendance on a public holiday or day off, right? So
Okay.
we cannot assign any constant number here. Yeah, we cannot assign a constant number. Previously, in case of annual leave quota, we have assigned a number called 2 because 2 days was supposed to be generated each month. But here, it's not the case. Here, what happens is, whenever the employee books attendance on a public holiday or day off, only then this quota has to be accrued. Only then this quota has to be generated. So what I'll do is I'll create a time type called as day balance time type. Yeah, I'll create a time type called as day balance time type, and then I'll assign the time type here. I'll assign the time type here. So if I have to configure a day balance time type, then there's a table called as v underscore phi v underscore t 555 a table.
Triple
Please make a
again.
note of this. V underscore t 555 a table. In this table, we need to configure the time types. This is time types table. You can make a note of it. This is time types table. Now, let me say maintain. Click on new entries. I'll create a time type here. And the personal sub-area grouping that we are seeing here is nothing but the personal sub-area grouping for time recording. That is 01. And the name of the
And
time type is, let me say,
V
VAST. Let us VAST. VASINC time type or day balance time type. Day balance time type. That's the name of the time type. And then start date of validity and end date of validity. And here in place of balances, what we need to do is save as day balance. Here, click on the drop down, and say balance formation. And say
balance format.
balance formation. Balance formation. Hit on enter.
Okay.
Save. Navigate back. So VAST is the day balance time type that we have created. VAST is the day balance time type that
The
we have.
balance type.
Yeah, and we will use this time type. We will use this time type in this quota. This quota. Now, when you click on the day balance here, when you click on the drop down,
Okay.
when you click on the drop down, we will be able to see VAST somewhere down here.
VAST.
You see,
Okay.
VASINC day balance time.
The balance time type.
Day balance time. And in related to period, it is going to be accrual period. Yeah, you have to choose an
Okay.
option for this accrual period. Hit on enter and save. And save. So the difference between the annual leave quota and comp off quota is that in annual leave quota, we have assigned a constant value here. We have assigned a number of days called as 2 days here. Yeah. And in case of the comp off quota, we are assigning a day balance time type. That is the difference. That is the difference. Now, what exactly is this time type? What is time type? We didn't discuss about it yet. Now, time type. Time type is a variable, actually. You can understand it as a memory unit or a variable in which we
And
store the time data. In which we store time data. Okay, time data. So the number of hours which we store in info types, let us say attendances or absences, yeah, whatever it is. These are all
Okay.
info types, right? So the
Okay.
number of hours that we store in the info type, they will be processed using these time types during time evaluation. Yeah,
Okay.
the number of
Okay.
hours that we stored in info types, they will be processed using these time types. They will be processed during using these time types during time evaluation. During time evaluation. And there are three types of time types. The first one is day balance time type. The second one is period balance time type. The third one is cumulative time type. Cumulative time type. There are three types of time types: day balance, period balance, and cumulative time type. So in day balance time type, the number of hours can be stored for 1 day. Yeah, for 1 day.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, yeah, the value will be automatically set to 0. It will be
Okay.
set to 0.
Okay.
Period balance time type, the number of hours can be stored for more than 1 day, or at least till one week or 1 month. It can be stored
Okay.
for 1 week or 1 month. And cumulative time type, the number of hours can be stored for up to 1 year or more than 1 year also.
Oh, 1 day.
The number of hours can be stored and processed for 1 year or more than 1 year also. So these are three types of time
So
types: day balance
okay.
time type, period balance time
Period,
type, and
period
cumulative
balance
time
time type will be stored for 1 month, sir. 1 day to
1 month
1 month.
up to, yeah, 1 week to 1 month.
1 week to 1 month.
Okay, now the time type that we have created is a day balance time type, yeah, and we have assigned it
Okay.
to this quota. We have assigned it to this quota. So the link between the attendance type and the absence quota is this time type only, VAST. Yeah, this is the time type. Yeah, this is the time type.
Okay.
So we have created this time type and we have assigned to this quota now, right? We have assigned to this quota.
Okay.
So this is the link. And moving forward in the configurations, what we will do is we will assign this attendance type to the time type. Moving forward, not right now. Moving forward, we will assign this type to the time type, and that is going to the link. That's going to the link between, yeah, uh, attendance type and time type. We are going to do it moving forward. Now,
Okay.
save it and navigate. Close. Determine validity and deduction period. Determine validity and deduction period. Employee subgroup grouping is 2. Personal subject grouping is 02. Absence quota type is what? 85, right? And validity is from start of the calendar year to the end of the calendar year. Okay. And deduction interval is from start of the validity interval to the end of the validity interval. That's it. So we discussed already about the validity interval in detail when we have configured the annual leave absence quota.
Okay.
Now, define generation rules for quota type selection. Define generation rules for quota type selection. Click on new entries. Employee subgroup grouping is 2. Personal subject grouping is 02. Start date of the validity interval, end date of the validity interval. And then personal subject grouping for time recording is 01. Quota type selection rule group is the written value that we have given in the QMO feature. For salaried employees, it is 22. And selection rule. Selection rule is, let us say 850. Yeah, let us say it is 850, and it is VAS INC comp of quota selection generation rule. And absence quota is 85. Absence quota is 85. Now, let us say the accrual period here is daily. Yeah, let us say the accrual period is daily, and the base entitlement. Click on the drop down near the base entitlement, you will exactly see the base entitlement that we have defined, that is 850. When you hit on enter, you will see the day balance time type here. Yeah. If you have configured the absence quota, annual leave absence quota, you would have seen that we have seen a number called 2 at that time. But now we are seeing the time type. We are seeing the time type. That is the difference. And accrual entitlement is no pro rata calculation. That means this quota accrual does not depend on the hire date of employee.
Okay.
This quota will get accrued when the employee books attendance on a public payroll. Transfer time is upon accrual, and total entitlement, there is no maximum entitlement here. So this is what it is. So if an employee books attendance on a public holiday or day off, as on today, he books attendance on a public holiday or day off, by the end of the day, when the time evaluation executes, this quota will be updated. This quota will be approved. Navigate back, further back. So with this, the configuration of the quota is also completed. Now let us set up the deduction rule. Let us set up the deduction rule. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will see quota deduction using attendances/absences. Quota deduction
Using attendance
execute. Define deduction rule for absence and attendance quotas. Define deduction rules for absence quotas. Define deduction rules for absence quotas. Click on new entries. Employee subgroup grouping is 2. Start date of validity, end date of validity. Personal sub-area grouping is 02. Deduction rule, let us call it as 850. Yeah, 850. And then it is going to be VAS INC VAS INC comp of quota deduction rule. Yeah.
Okay.
And the quota deduction will be in hours. Yeah, because we have defined it in hours only. So the deduction also will be in hours. Quota is 85. Save it. Yeah. So using the deduction rule, we will define whether the quota will be deducted in hours or in days. Deducted in hours or in days. So we have configured a similar step when we have configured the annual leave absence quota as well. So deduction rule is finished. Now let us configure the counting rule. Yeah. Let us configure the counting rule. Now in absences, in the node called as absences, we have absence counting. Absence counting.
Okay.
Rules for absence counting new. Rules for absence counting new. And define counting rules. Define counting rules. Click on new entries. Employee subgroup grouping is 2, personal subject grouping is 02. The counting rule, let us call it as 850, and it's going to be VAS INC, yeah, comp of quota or comp of absence counting rule. Absence counting rule. Sequence number is 1. The absence has to be counted on all the days of the week. Now, holiday class.
Okay.
Holiday class is whenever, so this is the counting rule that we are defining for absence type. Okay, so this is the counting rule that we are defining for the absence type. So this absence has to be counted whenever it is not a public holiday, and day type will be work as per the work schedule, which is work then pay, and counting class for period work schedule. I think we have defined it as 1, I guess. Maybe I'll cross check. Counting class for period work schedule. I'm guessing that I would have defined it as 1. I'll cross check. Yeah, cross check.
Okay.
And this absence has to be counted only when the DWS class is 1. Yeah, daily work schedule class is 1. This absence has to be counted only for planned working hours greater than 0. And this absence has to be counted only. It can be partial day or full day also, no problem. And the quota multiplier is in hours, that is 100%. That means if an employee books 1 hour of absence, only 1 hour of quota will be deducted. And deduction rule is 850. Yes,
Okay.
hit on enter. So I'm not getting into the details of this because we have already configured counting rules a couple of times. Yeah. One was regular absence. We have configured a counting rule, and we have also configured counting rule for regular attendance previously. So I'm not going deep into it. Now we have something called as defined counting classes for period work schedule. Let me just cross check quickly. This is called as 02 EASP. Yeah, the counting class is 1. So whatever counting class we have checked is okay. Now assign counting rules to absence types. Assign counting rules to 02. Absence type is VASINC comp of absence type. The counting rule here is, what is that? 8, right? Click on quota deduction. Save. Now get back. So the counting rule, configuration of the counting rule is completed, and we have assigned it to the absence type. Yeah. And we have also assigned the deduction rule to this counting rule. So this complete link is finished. Now let us configure attendance type quickly. Let us configure the attendance type. Now attendances slash actual working times. Attendances slash actual working times. So define attendance type. Define attendance type. So the previous attendance type that we have configured was BAS INC regular attendance type. Okay. Now what we will do is we will configure a compound attendance type. That means only using this attendance type, the employee has to book attendance whenever the employee works on a public holiday or a day off. So this attendance type is 9500, yeah, and this is called as VAS INC comp of attendance. Comp of attendance. Start date of validity, end date of validity, yeah. And there is no absence input checks because this is an attendance type, so we will not assign any absence input checks here. And the minimum duration and the maximum duration depends on the client's business process. Client's business process can be anything. Save it. Navigate back. Now, determine entry screens and time constraint classes. Determine entry screens and time constraint classes. So here, identify the attendance type that we have configured just now. That is
Yes,
VAS INC comp of attendance. So double click on this comp of attendance, and the screen number that we are going to use here is no quota deduction, that is 2050. Yeah, because this attendance type is not associated with any quota. Yeah, it's not associated with any quota. The time constraint class, I think 03 is what we would have assigned. Let me cross check this. Okay. V underscore 54 Y underscore B. Maintain, double click on attendances. And the time constraint class that we can use is, of course, that is signed against E, that is 01 is fine, or 03 is also fine. So I'll be just using 03 and save it. Yeah, I'll get back.
So why 03? Why not other?
Yeah, why not 1? See here, we can use any one of these actually. See, E is whenever there is a collusion. Yeah, E means whenever there is a collusion in the info type records, then an error message has to be given. So E is assigned to 03, E is also assigned to 01, E is assigned to 04 So we can use any one of these three. We can assign 4 or 3 or 1. Anyone is okay. Anyone is fine. So with this, the configuration of the attendance type is completed. Now let us define the counting rule. Yeah, let us define the counting rule to attendance type. So here we have attendance counting and rules for attendance counting new. Define counting rules. Define counting rules. Click on new entries. Employee subgrouping is 2, personal subject grouping is 02. Counting rule is here, let's say 950. Yeah, 950. This is going to be VAS INC. It's going to be comp of attendance counting. Yeah, comp of attendance counting. Sequence number is 950. Yeah, let's say, or 100, whatever it is. Now this attendance has to be counted on all the days of the week, irrespective of which day it is. And then just observe here carefully. This attendance has to be counted only on a public holiday. Yeah, because this is comp of attendance. Please remember, this comp of attendance. So comp of attendance means the employee will book only on a public holiday or day off. Right. So the holiday class that we need to choose here is holiday class 1. Yeah, only on a public holiday, yeah, it has to be counted. In day type, day type. It can be as per the, customer's business process. When exactly they want to count and all the stuff. It depends on the customer's business process. So we are choosing all of them. Yeah, I'm choosing
Okay.
all. And then counting class for period work schedule is 1. Yeah. DWS class should be 0. Yeah. Why it should be 0? Because on a day off. Yeah.
It's the
DWS
offer.
class should be 0. And planned working hours should be equal to 0 on the day. Yeah. Because on a public holiday or day off, the planned working hours will be 0 only. Okay. The planned working hours should be 0 on that day. And it can be for full day attendance or partial attendance also. There's no problem. Yeah. Full day attendance or partial attendance. And there is no quota associated with it. So we will not give any quota multiplier, nor we are going to assign any deduction. Yeah. So this is the counting rule that we are defining for comp of attendance. Yeah, comp of attendance. So this counting rule is different than the regular attendance counting rule. The regular attendance has to be booked only on a regular working day. But this is a comp
Working
of
day.
attendance. Comp of attendance has to be counted only on a public holiday or a day off.
Comp of, right.
950 is the counting rule. Now get back. Assign counting rule to attendance types. Assign counting rules to attendance types. And VAS INC comp of attendance. Counting rule is 950. Right.
Yes, sir.
Save. Now get back and further back. So with this, the link between this counting rule and attendance type is also completed. Yeah, just the link between the attendance type counting rule is also completed. Now the rest is how to link attendance type to time type. This is left out. Yeah, how to
Right,
link
sir.
attendance type to a time type is what is left out. And this is a little lengthy configuration. Yeah. So we'll discuss about this in tomorrow's session. Yeah, we'll discuss about this in tomorrow's session. I'm gonna wait.
Okay.